Because there are things that are left right now uncommunicated in your life that are heavy weight, right? They're the thing that you are running from and so in your own way, right?
Yep.
And that's okay. It doesn't make you wrong, but it's so important. It's not going to go away, right? Swallowing it down, it's fertile ground for seeds, right? And seeds grow, and when you keep putting the water and the fertilizer to feed those kinds of seeds, they grow big. Let's go ahead and sign your name. I love this. I so love this. Okay, is this the direction? This is the direction, right? Tell me what's represented here.
Tori Pence.
Okay, good time. Okay. I love this. Okay, so you it's so fun. Okay, super tenderhearted. So like a child tenderhearted. Like what pleases you are the simplest things.
Yeah.
So you love creativity. You love, I mean, like outlandish, big, all that. Okay, all of that's true, right? The being outgoing, right? And all of this is to distract from all of this right here. Just soft, tender, that little like 4-year-old girl with a little daisy chain crown, and like the simplest, sweetest, non-monetary things are the things that drive you. So all the other stuff, like you're very mindful, intellectually very much an adult, do what you have to do, what is required to make the wheels turn and pay the bills, right? But like who you are is this very like, can we make it with mud? Can I do it with mud and sticks? And there's an empty pie plan. There's got to be, like, can we make mud pies? Is that possible? And you have this kindness that compels you, right? This very non-judgmental desire for all to be included, for all to feel accepted, for you go without eating so everyone you invited can eat. Literally, like, no, I'm telling you, I've got your signature. So all of this, okay, so this is a bit of an umbrella, right? Does what it says and says what it does. And part of it is when people get in really close. The truth is, everyone, you collect stray dogs, right? Stray animals, everyone, right? Who needs shelter? You will give it, right? No, it's true. Part of it is a desire to shelter yourself, not really good at it. You're not good at saying no. You're not good at protecting yourself emotionally. You're trying. It's a work in progress, right? Let's not beat you up for that. Part of it is more than like your charm or whatever. It is the sweetness, right, that makes it so that those people who are hurting will come to you, right? Because you are safe, right? Right? They put down their arms and come to seek shelter, right? So intellectually smart, yes. And also like intuitively gifted. So artistically, do you draw? Do you?
I'm a sculptor.
Wow, can we make it with dirt? I had no idea. I love this. I just want to say I know what I'm doing. I don't ever get that way, but I'm telling you. Okay, so I so freaking love this. Do you make it with your hands? You love art? Yes. I love that. Okay. So part of it is this, see it bigger, see it outlandish, see it all those things, but so that you can connect with it, right? Very few things really, really, really matter to you.
Yeah.
Like, and you could pack up what you have in a larger back of a vehicle and be just great. Like, can I take my tools? Can I take my, do I have enough to be dressed when I'm cold or warm or like, and it doesn't need to be high end. It needs to be comfortable more than, do I look good in it or do I feel comfortable in it? It's going to be, do I feel comfortable in it first? You don't mind looking good, right? But who doesn't? But the artist in you is looking for external beauty more than you're like the beauty you surround yourself with, not like, am I beautiful? Right, yeah, whatever. If you don't like it, you don't like it. There's no convincing you, and I'm not worried about it, right? So I think that's powerful. Wow, I'm working on that one. You know what I mean? That's a work in progress. But like, so the creative mind gets interested in a million different things, and you have a really hard time centering. But once something grabs your attention, it's like squirrel, squirrel, right. But once something grabs your attention, then like you can go without sleep and food and keep going, and then it's like, wait, like you in that way you fit that whole artist stigma, or just the characterization of the typical art. Like, no, really, that's you. Like you need to eat now. Now it's time to stop. And like, okay, so that's 12 hours now that you've been working on that. You need to not obsess and
Can you see
stop
the
it.
ADHD in here?
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to. No, it's like, seriously. Okay. It makes it hard sometimes for you because sometimes you do want to center and focus and you can't, right? I once heard somebody describe ADHD as like the average person, you say ball to them and they think of a ball. Like, I love volleyball, so maybe I'm thinking of volleyball or football or right? And someone with ADHD starts to literally go through like the children's alphabet book of, golf ball, throwing a ball. She's in a ball gown. Wait, no, go back to balls, right? And then you go through every kind of imaginable wiffle ball and a basketball and rugby ball and ball, right? And so some of that is what you experience, and part of it is really frustrating because when you're younger, you internalize that to mean that you are not intelligent when you are keenly intelligent. And you have pushed yourself to a certain degree to exert that intellect, to have it manifest and show itself, to be able to have respect for that, but still part of who you are quintessentially feels like you've never progressed past what you were as a kid.
Yep.
And that's a lie. Can I just say that? That's a lie.
That's good to know.
Because at the end of the day, I really, really, my personal opinion, since it's my channel, it's going to be my opinion. But like, seriously, you meet the most successful, elevated, affluent, important, influential, right, person. And when you break them down to their smallest core, they're still the kid they were when they were just a kid, right? When we look at art, when we look at anything and we find it aesthetically appealing or not, it is that internal kid, in my opinion. It is that internal kid who's giving voice finally. Who's like, no, that looks ugly. No, that's cool, right? Like, and I grew up, my dad's a mechanic, so for me, cars really speak to me. I'm particularly addicted to Mustangs. And so like, there are certain years I'm like, why did you do that? That's got no finesse. It's too choppy. What were you doing? And then the longer lines and the smoother round it. I'm like, that's pretty. That's a good year. That was a good model. I think these things, and the reason why any of this is important to you is because with what you do as an artist, but with what you do as a human being and how you intellectually navigate your way through things, it's important. It invites other people to be their most genuine, most foundational selves, right? Not like act like a kid, but be sincere like a kid. Be genuine, be honest, to not be contrived. And isn't that ironic? Because I think we live in a world that loves to take artists and be like, yes, in this elevated state of right, like instead of just like an artist is someone who's connecting with what they're really, I'd like to think, I mean, they're artists in my family, and they connect with what appeals to them, right? With the sincerest part. Part of who you are and what your writing talks about is the fact that is about feelings, right? Like your language is about how people make you feel and how they don't make you feel. And part of you is a real black and white thing in as much as they either make you feel safe and loved and accepted or they don't. And if they don't, you just try to figure out how to get the hell away. So like, sometimes you have a really hard time articulating why certain things aren't okay. Like to give word to it. Like you can feel it if you could make maybe a list, if you could put a Pinterest page together with all the images that give that feeling. You could be like, this is how I feel about them. You're a dark black void with black ravens and a
Yes.
and a door that's gonna suck you in. And I'm being funny and being silly, but the truth is that this lack of ability to voice how you feel has been a real source of pain and frustration for you, right? Like who you get to connect with in relationships, but also who you get to, and I mean romantic relationships, and I mean just friendships too, and I mean with your family, right? Like there's no space between your first and last name. So I don't know how many kids are in your family, but this tends to act like the youngest. So like your family loves you and you love them, but also they love to tell you what you should and shouldn't do a bit, and that can come off inadvertently controlling, and you can then react feeling inadvertently controlled, and there's a certain measure of claustrophobia that occurs for you, wherein then you just distance yourself without communicating why you're distancing yourself, and then and the message isn't meant to be I don't love you. The message is I don't feel safe or accepted around you, and I'm trying to feel that. So here's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So like if I were to give you feedback, I would say you need to find a way to give voice to what your voice is. So if you start with the Pinterest pages and you use your image and you use your language first, then do that. And then maybe come up with words, like a list of words. Like once you put the page together about how someone makes you feel. Like because there are things that are left right now uncommunicated in your life that are heavy weight, right? They're the thing that you are running from and so in your own way, right?
Yep.
And that's okay. It doesn't make you wrong, but it's so important. It's not going to go away, right? Swallowing it down, it's fertile ground for seeds, right? And seeds grow, and when you keep putting the water and the fertilizer to feed those kinds of seeds, they grow big until they choke out all the good things and the light. And so having a voice, finding a way to communicate, if that looks like, I'm serious, like make that page, put the images together, and then go, okay, what words would I associate with these images? And maybe you start with the vocabulary list. Maybe you don't write full sentences first. Maybe you just start there until somehow a sentence comes from it and you say, when I look at this, I feel this way. This is how I feel when I'm with you. And maybe it's not just the negative ones, but maybe it gets to happen for the good ones too. Like I feel safe. I feel happy. I feel clean and whole like a little kid. I feel like the world is right, even though bad things can happen in the world, that my world is right. Like I'm okay and I'm enough in this moment here with you, right? And that's a big thing. These things I'm speaking to right now are about what you've been dealing with, right? So those people in your life who give a safe space and make you feel whole and accepted, and those who don't, whether it's inadvertent, unintentional, and maybe giving space to that too, to like give yourself permission to make your own safe space, to be your safe space, to say, I'm safe, whether you see the world the way I do or not, whether you agree with me or not. And maybe that introduces the idea of, you don't have to be my safe space. Maybe I can love you even when you don't see the world the way I do. Maybe I can find a place that you're okay to be, even if you wear a different set of glasses than I do, or you're blind and I'm sighted, or you're deaf and I'm gifted with a beautiful voice, right? Like, maybe we don't need to be alike to figure out how to love each other unconditionally, whether, and to say, I don't agree with what you're saying, so let's not talk about that. Like if this is going to be a point of contention, we don't have to contend with each other. How about we just love what we do love about each other and go from there? Like, but that requires you to have a voice. And right now, it's been so overwhelming for a lot of years. It's been building for a lot of years. So the only safe place is your art, and then the people that you choose to let in. And you can probably count on one hand the number of people that Like, you're so good.
No.
You have such a good heart. You have extremely kind intentions, and like, not, there's this like no malice, like, you know, no contrivance, no phoniness, just genuineness. So this like this playful, like, there is a real ability within you to bring out other people's gifts and talents too, to invite them to come and play, to find their creative side, to find a creativity in them they didn't even know they had, which is really powerful, because most people who are artists, I hate generalizations, but what I mean to say is there are some who are artistic or who call themselves artists who foo-foo on other people's art.
Yeah.
If it's not high enough art, if it doesn't look like their art, who like they kind of try to silence other people's voices when their voice doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the tone of someone else's art, like if it looks like Andy Warhol and everybody else is very classic, you know, I don't know, Monet, you know, Rembrandt, I don't know, some of these that are more recognized, like it's a traditional art look, and here's, you know, Andy Warhol, like 50 images, the same thing with 40 different colors on it, but he was making some points, he was speaking his own, you know, imagery, and yet the average person can recognize an Andy Warhol over any Rembrandt. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. 50 days a week and Sunday twice. So I think there's something to be said for giving room for everyone's voice, right? Even if we don't agree with everyone's voice. It gives a respect, it gives a time and a space. These things are really important for you because in your life you have felt silenced. And then you let your inability to focus sometimes, and then everyone else's ability to laser focus on you, silence you further, instead of giving a safe space, like a buffer from the wind, to just light the flame and let the flame catch fire enough. Let the logs get burning, and it doesn't matter how heavy the wind is, it just makes the fire get higher, right? But if you choke out the flame before it's had a chance to get really good and hot, it loses opportunity, and that's happened for you a lot. So I invite you to create space to do that, to start to give words. You have them. Yeah. You are way more capable than you acknowledge, right? And in your safest conversations with the closest of friends, and that whole family you're born to and family you choose, right? And then it's important to start to give voice to that, and maybe write it down afterwards. Whatever that looks like for you, right? Like some part of you is connected to all the sweet and simple things. Some part of you is reconnected to who you were as a kid, never got disconnected, right? But sometimes the nice part about becoming an adult is that we can disconnect from some of the crappy things from being a kid. Like how being a child meant that you weren't always in control of the situation, meant that you didn't have financial wherewithal to decide when and how and what you wore or what you did or what you ate, or right? Like you were dependent on someone else's budget to, you know, their life made your life possible, right? And that's not the case anymore. And I think I would recommend that you begin to embrace that side too, right? That part of saying, I am an adult. And because of it, I say when, I say how, I say where. I get to choose all the things, and I pay for it because I have the budget. Because because I can, because I have the talent and the wherewithal and the personal capacity that I've made this come. Also, too, you don't give yourself anywhere near the credit. Like, see where you are. Like, I invite you to literally make a list of what you've accomplished. To write it down, like you need it. Like water and air, like you literally physically need it. Like you need to sit down and be like, I've done this, I've done that, I'm still alive. Yeah. Like literally, in the face of these specific judgments, I'm still alive, right? Yeah. And I'm happy to be here. Yeah. That's yeah. Yeah, you're a toucher too. Yeah. Yeah. Like touch grounds you, touch makes you feel sane. it's the words that you don't have.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, like when you can't come up with the words of like somehow the energy of the moment. If I can just touch you, it'll all be okay.
You'll get it.
No, I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah.
So good. Quick to champion the underdog. Quick to like you would throw yourself in front of a bullet for your friends. It was like sincerely like you're not very good in that self-preservation. I would get you a little bit more of that, but yeah. So kind. So kind. I'd love to see your work. I'm gonna have to. Yeah.
I mean sure, whatever you want.
Yeah, no, I would love to see your art. Yeah.
This is fascinating. Can I?
Yes, please.
This was my signature when I was a kid. Similar. It's changed because I've like signed it for people, but I used to like.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and
yeah.
I'm
No
intrigued
accidents. A little bit less guilt
Yeah.
about the not getting what you need when you were little, but like. Yeah, this is more of a, I'm reaching, I'm gonna float away. It's gonna be okay. Damn it.
I'm so fascinated.
Thanks for watching. I hope you had a good time. Remember to like and subscribe. And until we see each other again, be good to yourself and be good to your people.